Hi again everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another speed build video in The Sims 4. Happy Sunday, I hope you're all having the most amazing day ever so far, and thank you so much for joining me here today. We are building in Forgotten Hollow and we are building a house for a family of vampires, specifically for 7 vampires is what I sort of base this house around. And I know that sounds like a really random number, but once we get onto the interiors and we start talking a little bit more about the actual bedrooms, then you'll sort of see and understand why we went for 7 Sims and didn't push it to the 8 Sims. But we are currently working on the exterior here. I did not use a reference image for this build, which I'm super proud of, because normally like 99% of the time I'll use a reference image for the exterior of my builds, and for this one I just decided I wanted to build something spooky in Forgotten Hollow, so I was like, okay, let's just see what we can come up with and see if we can come up with something really cool. So I really hope you like this build. I very much enjoyed designing this house, so I hope you have some sort of use for it. It seems like it's been a really long time since I've built in Forgotten Hollow. I don't believe I have built here for around 2 years now, because I know last autumn I was in the middle of moving house, so I don't believe I actually built a house like this last year. But I know the year before, when we got the paranormal stuff pack, I know that I did a build on this specific lot actually, so I was wanting to sort of see what I could come up with, given that I've been building for a few years now, and just sort of see what I was capable of coming up with. And I'm really proud of this, so please let me know what you think, what you think in the comments down below. It's been a long weekend. It's been a long weekend. I'm a little bit tired, but we will get through it. Sorry. So yes, I am proud of this, so let me know what you think in the comments down below. But I'm just okay, so at the minute, the exterior of the house is white. Now that, obviously, as you can see from the thumbnail and the intro at the start, you can see that we did end up changing the colour scheme, and that is simply because I was looking at screenshots of this. I posted a work in progress shot of this house on my community tab on YouTube and also on my Twitter. So if you're not subscribed to me on YouTube and if you're not following me on Twitter, please consider doing so, because I actually post a lot of work in progress shots and behind the scenes things on both of those platforms. And I was looking at it and I'm thinking, I'm not convinced by this. I love the shape of the house and everything, but the colour scheme just seems a bit off. So I decided to go for a warmer, like reddish brown brick, which I just think works a lot better. And I kept the roof trim white and the roof black, and it just helped everything pop, at least in my opinion anyway. If you're more keen on the white, then this wallpaper here, the siding is from the werewolves pack, and it's the white siding with like the brown sort of detailing in between. So that's what this is. If you prefer the look of this, then feel free to change it if you do decide to download this house. But me being me, I just decided to go for like more of a warmer sort of tone. I'm definitely more into the warmer tones at the moment, and I don't know why that is. I tend to go through different sort of phases, I suppose you could say, with my builds and my colour schemes and things like that. But I mean, I don't hate this. Like, I'm looking at it now on the playback and I don't hate it at all. I actually really like it. It's just that it just wasn't doing it for me for this particular house, and so maybe I can do something with this colour scheme for Halloween. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see another spooky build. I can absolutely do that. Not a problem at all. I can do something a little bit bigger, a little bit more grand. But as I was saying, this is a 3-bedroom 2-bathroom house, so it's very deceptive. I think from the outside you're probably thinking, okay, it looks kind of, it's not small, it's not large, it's kind of in between, so medium. So you're probably thinking, how did I manage to fit that many bedrooms in? But we did okay on the upstairs. It's a very simple floor plan. Most of the rooms are decorated quite simply as well. I definitely struggled a little bit with the interior design, just because I was sort of thinking that it was a house for a family of vampires, and I definitely struggled with that a little bit. But we will talk more about that once we get onto the inside. But the outside is pretty much taking shape. It didn't take me long at all to sort of sort this out and get it to where I wanted it to be. So we will in just a moment. Here we go. So this is where I go in with the brownish red brick, and you can just see it transforms the entire build. It just looks in my opinion, a lot better. You'll have to let me know what you think. Did you prefer it white, or do you prefer this sort of brick design? I obviously prefer the brick because that's what we landed on, but and then I just sort of go in and make some slight adjustments here and there. And yeah, I am really pleased with this build. I really am. I'm not really one for playing with occults, in complete honesty. As much as I love them, I love the idea of playing with occults, but I don't tend to gravitate towards playing with them in my own gameplay. Does that make sense? Probably not. I'm not the best at explaining things. But this house is kind of making me want to sort of create a family of vampires and play out their life and just see sort of where it takes us. But I always go through these phases of saying, oh, I'm going to create a family and I'm going to do this, and I just never find the time. Life is so busy, and I just think, do I have the time? Probably not. So we're probably not going to do that, but the fact is that the house sort of makes me want to do that. So hopefully it does the same thing for you. If it sort of inspires you to create a family of vampires, then this is just perfect for them. Obviously it's built for a family of vampires, so it would work really well. And I did actually end up using a couple of items from the werewolves pack, which I know sounds really crazy, but I will point them out as I use them on the interior. But we are currently working on the landscaping. I do end up adding this bit on the left hand side here, which I think just gives the house a little bit more depth, a little bit more dimension, and it also gives us a bit more space on the ground floor as well, which is really important when we get onto the floor plan, and I'll talk about exactly what I mean there. But the landscaping is relatively simple. I have no idea what this landscaping looks like outside of autumn. I'm currently building on, I think it's day 4 in autumn in Forgotten Hollow, and so I didn't actually check this build out in the spring or the summer. So please don't judge the landscaping, because I'm taking it as what it looks like now rather than what it potentially looks like in the summer. It might not make much sense, or it might be completely fine. I have no idea. You'll have to let me know if you do play with this house and you play through the seasons. Then let me know, does it hold up during the summer? I really hope it does, and you don't have to make too many amendments. Anyway, this is the interior of the build. It's very deceptive, and the floor plan, again, I go back, it's very simple, and I wanted to keep it simple because I wanted the rooms to be quite big. And there's a method to my madness with that, because I'm trying to keep my houses a little bit more gameplay friendly. I have spoken about this in my previous speed builds over the past few weeks, and I'm trying to keep things a little bit more gameplay friendly. Now, the living room is definitely the most cluttered out of any of the rooms in the house, so we're starting with the living room. So I know I'm saying, oh, it's not that cluttered, and you're probably looking and thinking, like, when we start to wrap up the living room, we were thinking, you're lying, like, what are you talking about? But you will see what I'm talking about as we progress through the build. But the living room took me a little while to work out. This is actually my 3rd attempt at the living room, because I just couldn't work out the color schemes. I could not work out which items I wanted to use and from which packs. It was very overwhelming to me, so I had to step away for a day or two and just think, okay, what can I actually do with the interior of this house? Bearing in mind that I'm building it for a family of vampires, so the living room and the rest of the house really doesn't make much sense. And it's a bit higgledy-piggledy, it's a bit mismatchy, it's a little bit all over the place, but it's full of character, and that's definitely what I wanted to sort of portray with the interior design. I think the outside is quite grand looking. It's a little bit run down looking as well, but it's definitely a beautiful looking Victorian house, and I wanted to replicate that with the interior as well. So again, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think of the interior? I wouldn't say it's my strongest interior, but it's a style that I'm not necessarily comfortable with, so I just tried to make the best of the situation. I wanted to try and push the boundaries a little bit, test myself, and just see what I could come up with. So I am overall very pleased with this, but there's the odd room that I'm thinking, oh, the main bedroom for me is just it's probably the worst room in the house, but we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get onto the top floor. But the living room is coming together quite nicely. I was just about to say I clutter it up, because I do to a certain extent. However, it's quite tame compared to some of my other builds, so you'll have to let me know if you agree or disagree. I'm obviously going to agree with what I'm saying because I'm actually saying it, but yeah, you'll have to let me know. And I do end up using these curtains from the Vampires pack because I thought they worked quite well. They're very grand looking, they're very Victorian, sort of gothic looking, and that's what I wanted to sort of portray with the interior, and you'll have to let me know what you think. But we use a lot of items from the Vampires pack, the odd item from the Werewolves pack. A lot of base game items are actually quite, I don't know what sort of time period they're from because I'm not too up to date with time periods, but they're very oldie worldy looking and they work really, really well in my opinion in these Victorian houses. So you'll see here these sofas are from the base game, and the other sofa, I don't know where that's from. Is that from the base game as well? Like the one on the right here is from Vampires, but I'm like the main living area around the fireplace. And the two on the left and the right are from the base game, but I can't remember where the other one's from. And I don't actually know why I changed it. I think that's from the base game as well. I'm not entirely sure. I'm trying to have a good look at it. I'm sure someone will let me know if I'm wrong. But anyway, this is the kitchen. It's a really good size, and when I started the floor plan for this house, I was sort of umming and ahhing as to which room I wanted to be what. That doesn't make any sense, but what I'm trying to say is I didn't know which room I wanted the living room to be, which room I wanted the kitchen to be, and then which room I wanted the dining room to be. It was very important to me to sort of have a separate dining room in this house because I think for an older house like this that would be quite common, and I feel like Vampires, I love how I'm saying it like they're real, but maybe they host a lot of parties, they're very family oriented, and they love to have these big sit down meals, so it was really important for me to have that separate dining space. The kitchen, it's okay. I think my favourite room is definitely the living room out of all of them, but the kitchen's all right. I also realised I used these counters from the what's it called? I can't remember the pack. I cannot remember the pack for the life of me. I want to say Realm of Magic, but I don't think that's the name of the pack. They're the counters that we used, but then I also realised that these counters did not come with any matching cabinets, which I found very strange, and I can't believe I've never actually picked up on that before. So that was incredibly frustrating. So obviously the cabinets and the counters don't match, and because I had to use these cabinets from the base game pack because in my opinion, or from what I saw, they were the closest ones that I could find that kind of half matched. But I didn't think it was too big a deal, again, because the house is full of character and it's a little bit quirky and mismatchy, so I thought it kind of actually goes with the vibe of the house, so it didn't bother me that much, so hopefully it doesn't bother any of you that much either. And this little bay window here, there is a chair there currently, but we do end up putting a dining room table with, I think, just 2 chairs there, and obviously then we've got the island with the 2 bar stools as well, so there's plenty of room for your Sims to sit, and then obviously we've got the dining space just to the right hand side here, which we'll start working on in just a moment. So there's plenty of space for all 7 Sims to sit down and have a meal. Of course, if you do not have a family of 7 Sims, then you can just, I don't know, change some of the rooms up, or your family can just grow into the house. It's entirely up to you. Although I'm just going to have a look and see how much the house is actually worth, because I took a picture of it on the gallery and I'm just having a look now. Okay, so the house is worth 121,000 simoleons, so it's not exactly cheap. So I apologize for that. However, I think a lot of the items from the Vampires pack are very pricey, and I know why the Sims team have done that. It's because obviously the items are quite grand and sort of, I don't know, luxurious, I would probably say, and I do use a lot of items from the Vampires pack, so I think that would kind of explain it. So this is the dining space. There is a fireplace here, which unfortunately Sims can't light because as you can see, the dining table is in the way. Now, looking back, I could have maybe rotated the dining table the other way, and I think I tried that initially, like at the start of doing this room, but for some reason I decided against it, and I don't really know why, because I feel like that would have made more sense. I don't know what I was thinking when I was doing this house. I was making some very odd decisions, clearly, but it kind of works. Just because you can't access the fireplace doesn't mean to say that it's not you know, it doesn't make sense because there's plenty of houses that I know of where people have a fireplace and they can't actually light it or access it. So whatever, it is what it is. It's a decision that I made and I'm sticking by that decision, okay? So anyway, we're just cluttering up this room again. I didn't want to go too overboard. The room itself is a slightly awkward shape, so I couldn't actually put the dining table in the center of the room because your Sims wouldn't be able to access all of the dining chairs. So this is the best that I could come up with for this room shape. If you think that there's a different way to style it, then please go ahead. You know that you can make any adjustments that you need to my builds to fit in the families that you want to. So please go ahead if you need that. So this is I'm rambling on. This is the upstairs, and as you can see, the floor plan came together so quickly, and I even ended up managing to fit 2 bathrooms up here. So I did this off camera just because I didn't know if it was going to work, but you will see here, not necessarily here, but at some point you'll see the extra bathroom. Now I do decorate the bathrooms off camera just because they're very plainly decorated and I didn't really feel the need to include them in the footage. I hope you don't mind. It just made more sense in my head. This is the main bedroom and this is my least favorite room in the house. Because of the size of it and the shape of it, it threw me off. Again, because of the style of the build as well and what I was trying to come up with for the family that lived here with them being vampires, I think it threw me off completely, and so that's definitely shown in the decor. I think some rooms are really, really awesome and then other rooms you're like, okay, that's all right, but I think you could have done better, and I will totally take that on board and I totally accept that as well because I can't be good at every style of build. However, I wanted to give this a go because I was feeling very spooky and very Halloweeny when I built this house because it is the middle of September, let's face it, and my head and my heart is already in Halloween mode because Halloween is my favorite time of year and I just wanted to do a spooky build. I will do another spooky build probably to release on Halloween, and then we'll have this one and then that one. I will still go on with the autumnal builds, but if there's any builds that you want to see in between, then please drop me a comment down below, leave me a message, whatever you want to do, because I'm trying to come up with not necessarily new ideas for the channel, but I want to be building what you guys want me to build because you use my builds at the end of the day. So drop me a comment if you've got a build idea that you want to see me do. If you've got a build challenge you want to see me do on camera, like anything like that, just let me know. Anyway, this is one of the 3 bedrooms. I envisioned 2, maybe twin girls in this room. It's very neutral, but then we do end up popping back in and adding some pops of pink and turquoise and sort of oranges because I did the other kids' room and I kind of decorated it a little bit more, so I was like pulling items from there and then popping them in this room as well. But that was what I envisioned in here. And then in the other room I was thinking maybe there was like 2 older boys. I don't really know. There's if you've got a different family dynamic, again, make any adjustments that you need to and just roll with it because I can't sort of tick every box because I have no idea who you guys are going to move in here. So it's really difficult for me to tick all the boxes when I'm not entirely sure what family is going to be moving into the house. So I was just trying to sort of cover all bases, if that makes sense. So I really like this room. Again, because of the bay windows in probably 80% of the rooms, it does make it a little bit more challenging when it comes to decorating the rooms themselves. So this is the room that I was referring to with the 2 older boys, and initially I was thinking it could be like a teen room, and then I was thinking, well, let's just try and fit as many Sims as we can in here, so I make it another twin room and we go with this red and blue theme, which I think works quite nicely. And the kids' rooms do have carpet in them, and that was a choice that I made on purpose because I was thinking that like the house is a little bit older, but the family that's moved in here, they've probably replaced the floorboards with carpet just to make it a little bit more child friendly because, like, let's face it, the house itself isn't child friendly. It's very spooky, it's very ominous, and I was thinking it's maybe not the best place for kids to be. So I'm thinking like maybe their bedrooms are where they spend the majority of their time. So I was trying to get their sort of personalities across as much as I could within the bedrooms, and I think we achieved it. I did again struggle because of the decor style. I don't know, my head wasn't in it for some reason, and I could not get my head in it. So this is what we ended up coming up with, and I thought it worked quite well. But me being me and me being a little bit of a perfectionist, I'll always look back on things that I've done and go, well, I could have done that and I didn't do that and that looks bad, rather than looking at it and thinking, oh, I actually really like that because I did X, Y, and Z. So I'm my own worst enemy. But anyway, as we're having another ramble, we have added some more decor to this room, and you can just see it looks a little bit more lived in, and like 2 teenage boys potentially live in here. But again, if you want to make any adjustments, please feel free to do so. Maybe you've got a family with 2 kids, and so you could just delete 2 of the beds. Like, do whatever you need to do. I hope you guys have a vampire family for this house. That would be really exciting. If you do, drop me a message and send me some screenshots. But we are almost finished with the build, so I will start wrapping up now. You can breathe a sigh of relief. But you can get this house from the gallery right now. My origin ID is RachelPedd. Tray files, as always, are linked down in the description box below. You can get them for free from SimFileShare. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining me here today. You all take care, and I will see you next time I post a video. Bye!